And good afternoon, Westchester County women. We finally made it to our second annual WOW Conversations, something we've been waiting to do for a whole year now. It is now March 2021. I want to welcome all of you, and all of you have done amazing things over the last 12 months that you should be so proud of, and you have more things to do and encourage and inspire so many others. And just recently I read something, and I'm just going to look down at my notes for this, and it says, a woman is the full circle within her, is the power to create, nurture, and transform. And I'm pretty sure all of you have done exactly that over what we've experienced over the past year in this pandemic that has just brought us down to our knees. Now, I know that many of you out there, you've been taking care of your families, you've been taking care of work, you've been homeschooling your children, all trying to take care of yourselves. You know, juggling all those factors can really be a lot for a lot of you, and you should just really give yourself a huge pat on the back. You should give, you know, your other women beside you a pat on the back and just know how great you've done in all of this. Now, it's not been easy for some of you. Some of you have been suffering. There's been, you know, times where so many changes have happened in the last year, and just know you're not alone. We're all together in this. And as we move forward, it is our responsibility as women to be there together as we, you know, make ourselves stronger and make ourselves bigger. So again, just know today is about you. I appreciate you. Many others appreciate you, and there's a lot of more work to get done. Just a little bit about me. My name is Naveen Dhaliwal. I'm a reporter with Channel 7 Eyewitness News. I'm also actually back on my old stomping grounds. I did a few years here, many years actually here with News 12 Westchester. So Westchester is kind of home to me. Still to run my errands here. I'm not that far, don't live that far, just across the border in the Bronx. And it was really important for me to be here today with all of you, because when I had heard about this conference, which I was supposed to be part of last year, women empowerment is so important. And I have to show you just a little personal side of my story as to why I've chosen to be here. I'm a first generation Canadian, born in Canada, of course, and I was born into a very conservative South Asian family, into a Punjabi family, and all my life I was raised to be a girl, and that wasn't good enough for me. So taking that, and many, you know, the culture was that you're supposed to be the girl, you're supposed to do the way, you know, society has planned out for you, and then you sort of move on. But that wasn't good enough. Instead, I decided to go to speech pathology school. Yes, I'm a speech pathologist. I have a bachelor's and a master's from the University of North Dakota. And then I went on and said, no, I really always want to do journalism. So went back to school for journalism at Rutgers. And again, along that path, one thing has led to another. And the journey has been really good. But it also has been good because of the choices one makes, right? It's always the choices one makes that will lead you to the next level that you want to do. So here I am again. The last 3 years spent at Channel 7. It's been a really good ride. But one thing I've learned over the last in my life journey is that I never wanted to be in anyone's shadow, and I certainly didn't want to have anyone in my shadow. That's why it's so important as us women to uplift and be strong and be there for all of us as a team. We are all one team. Now, having said that, you will today hear from women from different walks of life, different cultures, different parts of the country, which is kind of cool because the stories is how we learn about others and how we learn about experiences, and those might shape our own experiences. And we hope that today will leave you inspired and uplifted. That is the goal at the end. And today's WOW Awards is a continuation of WOW Conversations and is dedicated to bringing the women of Westchester together across the boundaries through communication, community, and commitment. This is not just a one-time deal. We have to always keep this going. Now, we received more than 300 applications for these awards, and each one of them was very deserving in their own right. And today we celebrate all the women of Westchester, all of you out there. You have gone above and beyond to serve your communities, ordinary women doing extraordinary things during an unimaginable time, and that's really important. You know, the last 12 months have been like no other, and you've changed your routines, you've changed your lives, things that you never thought, and you still succeeded, and that's the most important part. I want to give a special thanks to Sherry Rosen-Archer, Director of Policy and Programs, Small Business and Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Sherry. Crystal Collins, Director of Faith-Based Initiatives and Urban Affairs. Martha Lopez, Director of Minority and Women-Owned Business Development and Immigrant Affairs. And Robbie Shelf, Director of the Office for Women. So let's get started. You can get a little comfy. I'm a little comfy actually here. This is the HUDCO building, and we have a beautiful space. I gotta tell you, I was actually more comfortable here than I am actually in my own living room. This is kind of cool. So grab your cup of coffee, grab your tea, grab a wine. Don't worry, grab it. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? I actually think it's 5 o'clock now, so go for it. And let's get started. We're gonna hear from one of our remarkable women.
The WOW Awards Committee was made up of 4 extraordinary women: Crystal Collins, Martha Lopez, Robbie Schlaff, and myself. We received over 300 nominations for all the wonderful women of Westchester, and we read every single one of them and watched every single video and looked at every single picture. We had divided them up into 6 categories to make it a little easier, and it was still almost impossible to choose a winner. So today we celebrate all the women of Westchester, and we look forward to a great event.
And now to one woman who is very well known on the political front. I'm talking about Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. One of Senator Kirsten Gillibrand's top priorities in the United States Senate is to rebuild the American economy. She is fighting every day, for more good paying jobs, more products stamped with the words "Made in America," and more new small businesses around New York State. Throughout her time in the Senate, Senator Gillibrand has been in leader of some of the toughest fights in Washington. She led the effort to repeal the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy that banned gays from serving openly in the military. She wrote the Stock Act, which made it illegal for members of Congress to financially benefit from inside information. And she won the long fight to provide permanent health care and compensation to 9/11 first responders and community survivors who are sick with diseases caused by toxins at Ground Zero. Now, Senator Gillibrand brought Democrats and Republicans together to win these legislative victories. As a mother of 2 young sons, Senator Gillibrand understands the challenges, like many of you do out there, that working families are facing in today's economy. She's a champion for economic empowerment of women and working families. She has authored new legislation to rewrite the rules of the workplace so it can keep up with our changing workforce in our changing times. As you know, we've just experienced over the last 12 months. Born and raised in upstate New York, Senator Gillibrand's hometown is Brunswick, New York, with her husband, Jonathan Gillibrand, and her 2 young sons, Theo and Henry. Ladies, here is Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Hi, it's Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, and I'm so pleased to join you for Westchester County's WOW Conversation Women's Empowerment event and the first WOW Awards. I want to send my thanks to County Executive George Latimer and my congratulations to all of today's honorees. Over the past year, I've been so inspired by the women who have gone beyond the call of duty as essential workers, small business owners, elected officials, advocates, and parents. The pandemic has multiplied the number of roles we have to play and made long-standing imbalances more visible. And it has reaffirmed my commitment to fighting for policies that will make life better for all of us, like providing universal paid family leave, making quality childcare affordable and accessible, and addressing the racial disparities in maternal mortality. Thank you all for all that you have done and shown what it means to be bold and brave and to persevere in times of hardship. I promise to keep fighting for you in Washington as hard as you fight for your communities, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of your event.
And thank you for that, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. Now, I'd like to introduce you to another very powerful woman here in New York. New York State Attorney General Letitia Tish James. Tish, I for some reason have been saying your name a lot in the news lately, but I'm not going to go there. But rather, we're going to talk about how experienced you are as an attorney and public servant with a long record of accomplishments in service to New Yorkers. Now, Tish has been the first African-American woman to serve as both the New York City Public Advocate, New York State Attorney General, and she is first worked as a public defender and then went on to staff with the New York State Assembly before being elected as Attorney General in January of 2019. Please welcome New York State Attorney General Letitia Tish James. Tish.
Good afternoon, and thank you for that warm and kind introduction, and welcome to the Women of Westchester Award ceremony. I first like to thank the county executive for his wonderful leadership, George Latimer, and of course to all of the women on the committee for organizing this event and for their commitment to serving the women of Westchester County. I'm so honored to be celebrating these accomplished, dedicated, incredible women who have given so much to their communities during these unprecedented and these challenging times. And we all know that this crushing burden of the pandemic has unfortunately disproportionately fallen on women's shoulders. Women are more likely to be caregivers, bearing the brunt of this pandemic for their families. We're more likely to be essential workers, whether it be in healthcare and retail, as community organizers. Women are the ones holding our state together. And especially in times like this, it is important to honor and to uplift the women who keep our communities running. Each of the women being honored today has gone above and beyond, not for acclaim, and they're gone. They have continued to serve, not for money and not for attention, but because of their love for their community and because they recognized that someone else was suffering and they stepped up to help. Women have a long history of stepping up to carry our nation through crisis. The contributions of women have moved us forward every day for generations. However, these contributions are too often ignored and are too often overshadowed. And so I am all the more honored to be here tonight, to have the privilege of simply saying to all of you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to these amazing honorees who have worked day in and day out to improve their communities and the lives of their neighbors in Westchester County, who thought about others before they thought about themselves. The trailblazing advocacy and community service of these incredible women is important, not just for us, but for our daughters, their daughters, and future generations of women who deserve equal rights and opportunities in our nation. And as the women being honored tonight have shown, it is women who hold us together, who lift us up each and every day, and who roll up their sleeves to do the hard work for the betterment of their community. I am inspired by their achievements. I am grateful for their work, and I'm so honored to be celebrating with all of you. And we all know what's true, and that is, if you want something done, just give it to a woman. Thank you and congratulations.
Well said, Tish. Yes, if you want something done, give it to a woman. Thank you for that. And what a remarkable group of women that we are blessed to know and call as our neighbors, as our friends. You've just heard from a few of them right there. Our final keynote speaker, I want to welcome one of the most influential women in all of Westchester County and in New York State. I'm talking about Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins. Led the most productive legislative session in state history. She's been widely recognized as a trailblazer in local state government and a champion for progressive action. In 2012, she became the first woman and African-American woman to lead the New York State Legislative Conference. In 2019, just 2 years ago, she shattered that glass ceiling when Her peers elected her as President Pro Tem and Majority Leader of the State Senate. Majority Leader Stewart-Cousins oversaw the passage of the historic and transformative legislation on issues including voting reforms, gun safety, women's rights, and of course, one of the most important, health care, immigration and dreamers and the LGBTQ community and justice system and sexual harassment in the workplace. Additionally, the Senate majority under her leadership passed the most comprehensive and aggressive climate change legislation in the nation and the strongest tenant protections and affordable housing package in state history. Andrea Stewart-Cousins was born and raised in New York to parents who encouraged the life grounded in education and service. These values, along with her strong belief in advocating for the underserved and championing the needs of working families, have distinguished her as a public servant and progressive leader. Before entering public service, Andrea Stewart-Cousins worked in a variety of professions, including customer service, sales and marketing with New York telephone company AT&T, journalism personnel, and as a teacher for Yonkers Public Schools. In 1995, Andrea was elected to serve as a Westchester County legislator, and in 2006, she was elected to the New York State Senate. Senate Majority Leader Stewart-Cousins resides in Yonkers, was married to late Thomas Cousins, and has 3 children and 4 grandchildren.
Hello, I'm Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins. It's an honor to be joining you virtually for this year's WOW Awards. Thank you to Westchester County Executive George Latimer for having this annual event and having me be a guest speaker. This is a time to celebrate Westchester County women and to recognize those who have lifted us up during this pandemic through their strength and resilience. What a challenging year it's been. But I can say without a doubt, women of all backgrounds have stepped up during this pandemic. In fact, 2/3 of frontline workers and nearly 80% of healthcare workers are women, and 83% of workers who provide social assistance, including childcare and emergency services, are women. I thank all the women on the front lines, the women serving as essential workers, and those who are taking on new and challenging roles like homeschooling, organizing relief efforts, and fighting for equality. Your work has never been more important to communities like ours here in Westchester. Today, we recognize several women in 6 categories for their tireless work supporting health and wellness, the next generation, for their support of other women, and along with helping communities with basic needs, providing communities with spiritual guidance, and recognizing an outstanding businesswoman or entrepreneur. The women being honored today for their achievements should serve as examples to all of us. First is Ida Silver Wiggins, who has been a pillar in the Peekskill community. As a faithful member of Mount Olivet Baptist Church, she started a scholarship fund which has helped more than 50 impoverished youths since its inception. There's Frances Ann Lightsy Grimes of Mount Vernon, an educator and teacher at the Grimes Elementary School, who's paved the way for youth and young adults of all ages. Nubia Earth Martin of Yonkers offers free childbirth education classes to the public, and she shares her knowledge generously and trains new maternal health professionals. Melissa Manice of Larchmont coordinated hundreds of volunteers to make PPE for local hospitals and used her charity to raise more than $225,000 towards funding grants for COVID-closed businesses. Mariana Alonso-Jusufaj of New Rochelle helps empower domestic workers and improve industry standards by providing community-based organizations with specialized trainings and technical assistance. Donna Brown is deeply committed to the Tuckahoe community, organizing movie screenings free to children, advocating for police reform, and supporting children with special needs. And lastly, Joyce Liu of Hastings-on-Hudson, who at just 16 years old founded Ardsley masks during the pandemic to get more than 1,600 masks to those who needed them in Greenburgh. These are but just a few of the accomplishments these remarkable and generous women are being honored for, and who you'll all hear more about. I'm inspired by each of their stories. May we all take away the importance of having women focused on solving problems to create change in our communities. As the first woman to lead in the New York State Legislature's 242-year history, I know the importance of having women in the room. Today, we have 18 women serving in the New York State Senate, more than any in the history of the legislature, and we want to see even more. As Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception. For Women's History Month, let us commit ourselves to continuing the fight for gender equality and empowering women to reach for the highest levels, as Kamala Harris did when she became the first woman vice president in United States history. Thank you, and congratulations to this year's outstanding WOW Award honorees.
And ladies, for any change to happen out there, we always need leadership. And right now, I'm so honored to have Westchester County Executive George Latimer. I'm so taken back by I'm sitting here with you that I can't even talk. Westchester County Executive George Latimer with us here. And just before we get to you, Mr. Latimer, I'm actually just going to tell a little bit about you to everyone out here. Now, you have been the face of Westchester County and all the change that has happened here over the last 2 years. In January 2018, 3 years actually, Mr. Latimer took office as the 9th Westchester County Executive. His business experience, public service, and dedication to Westchester County in both the public and private sector are behind his efforts for the past 25 years. He is pledged to stand by citizens he represents, from city councilman to county legislator to assemblyman to state senator to now county executive, sorry.
That's okay.
To county legislator to assemblyman to, now county executive. You have taken pride in advocating for people living and working in Westchester and all their needs. And Mount Vernon raised, right? And a resident right now for Rhyu in 30 years. You are a Westchester man. This is it. You have used inclusion and openness as foreground, hiring a record number of women in your administration. Your goal is to make Westchester a destination for all people to work, love, and enjoy. And here we are on our second official WOW Conversations seminar. And what do you have to say to all the women out there who have about empowerment, as well as all they've gone through over the last year or so in this pandemic?
Well, and Naveen, thank you very much for your role here today as our MC. I think back to when I was growing up a number of years ago, as I approach, but not quite at my 70th year. I have a younger sister. And when we were in grade school and you'd have some conversation about what did you want to be when you would grow up, us boys would talk about anything, sports hero, police, fireman. In those days, the astronauts were a big thing. My sister would talk along the lines of what was sort of directed to her, which was teacher, nurse, or secretary. And now, of course, all these years later, she had a career in business that was not that. She's mother of 3 children and just a wonderful friend, no matter how much I tortured her when we were younger. But the bottom line is the restrictive nature of career opportunities for women have started to open up in ways that didn't exist before. On television in those days, a woman in television was doing weather. Now we have investigative journalists at the highest level of skills doing what you're doing, who are women and who are accepted, in a way that they weren't accepted all those number of years ago. That's what makes this WOW conversation so important to me, is that this is about ordinary people who do extraordinary things. And those extraordinary things are now possible for women in a way that the society didn't allow for a number of years ago, and we're not there yet. We're in the process of getting better at it. Hopefully, those of us begin to realize that you judge a person based on their ability, not their gender or their gender identity, not on the basis of their race or their religion, just on the basis, as Martin Luther King said, of the content of their character. And with that, We have so many women to be proud of here in Westchester County.
But you have to, a lot of times what happens with gender roles is there's a textbook to it. In your case, you have recognized that the textbook is not the right way to go for women.
We have directors in main departments of our government,
Right.
female, they're doing a fabulous job.
Right, and you have to allow those because women do have childcare, and some single women out there, as some of our viewers out there, they may be single mothers,
Right.
and they have to have that balance. They have to have a work and family balance, which is so important, which you have to bring.
And we also, those of us, who now have, I've gone through my years as a young father and so forth, you realize that we have to be more partners with our partners as we raise children, as we have home responsibilities. A young man who's my chief of staff is a new father, and he's experiencing fatherhood in a much more gender-balanced way than perhaps was true 35 years ago when I was a young father. So hopefully we're moving in the right direction, and I do think Westchester, New York City, this area of the country is on the cutting edge of these things as we see women rise to the leadership of our major corporations, women like Andrea Stewart-Cousins and Letitia James serve, and Kristen Gillibrand in high public office, women who really have achieved quite a bit, as well as those who in everyday life have really done exceptional things.
And can I just ask you this? Over the past 12 months with the pandemic and the changes that have come to lives, the personal lives with women, is there anything in your policies that you can think of that could help to get more women into different roles? As a lot has been sort of dumped on them where they've been juggling a lot. Are there anything that you could think of or something you are thinking for the future?
Naveen, we've passed legislation, and credit our County Board of Legislators led by Ben Boykin. We've passed legislation for earned sick leave policy. We passed legislation to ban discussion of salary history. So if you are just coming back into the workforce, we can't judge your salary that we're going to offer you based on what your salary was previously. We thought that's an important step forward. We've done a host of things like that create outreach. And of course, when we have as many outstanding women executives in government as we do, they become a role model for younger women who see that this is a career path to senior management. It's not just being frozen in a certain level of a certain position. And I think in elective office, you've already seen the statistic, 9 out of 17 of our Board of Legislators are female. Our most powerful state legislator is female. We had a long-term congresswoman who just retired after 32 years, Nita Lowy, female. It's getting better, and it's going to get better to the degree of the future.
Yep, and it comes, just remember, Mr. Latimer, it comes with a thought process, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you
for
much.
that.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time here with me, and I appreciate you, by the way, having me here too. Thank you for that.
We're welcome to have you.
Thank you. Well, now without further delay, we're ready to give our very first award. It is my honor to announce the winner of the Keeping the Faith WOW Award for women who have provided spiritual guidance, and that is Ida Silver Wiggins from Peekskill, known as Mother Wiggins. Congregants at the Peekskill's Mount Olivet Baptist Church call her a bedrock pillar in the community to help impoverished young people continue their college education. She founded the Wiggins Scholarship Fund, which provided mentorship and funds for Westchester County youth. Nominated by a longtime congregant who says Mother Wiggins' impact her life has been inspirational and life-changing, empowering her to keep the faith. Congratulations, Ida, on your Keeping the Faith recognition.
I wish to thank the County of Westchester for this WOW Award. It is with humility that I accept this award. I am the widow of the Reverend Dr. G. Franklin Wiggins, 12th pastor of the Mount Olivet Baptist Church, Peekskill, New York, for 36 years. Keeping the faith during this pandemic has allowed me to continue scholarship for high school students in his memory. Keeping the faith has also allowed me to continue to serve as a chaplain at the New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital Center and also chaplain at the Peekskill NAACP. I also serve as a trustee of Shaw University, Raleigh, North Carolina. It has allowed me to do my Zoom community meetings. I'm also a deacon at Mount Olivet Baptist Church. I've been able to continue my services there. Restrictions have been great. However, we continue to strive on. Thank you again. It is a great honor to be receiving this award.
A big congratulations to Ida. Now, the next award, spotlighting women working with children in education or childcare, is entitled the Next Generation WOW Award. And the winner is Frances Ann Lightsy from Mount Vernon. Frances Ann Lightsy began her career with the Mount Vernon City School District in 1985. She climbed the academic ladder as a classroom teacher to assistant principal and then a principal. Good job. She's currently an executive consultant for scholastic education. During her career, she developed a community partnership program with a national grocery chain and international study abroad program and alumni sharing program. Nominated by a former student, Ms. Lightsy is described as a person who continues to pave the way for young people of all ages as an educator, as a mentor, and a coach.
I am extremely honored to be receiving this award. I have committed my life to the youth of Mount Vernon, most especially, but to the youth of Westchester. So to receive this award, I am extremely humbled. I started my career in Mount Vernon as a classroom teacher at Robert Fulton School, went on to become an assistant principal at Mount Vernon High School, and ultimately the principal of Grimes Elementary School, where our county executive, George Latimer, graduated from, a little bit before I became principal. I am so happy. I encourage all of you to get involved with youth because youth are our next generation. I was nominated by Debbie Burrell Butler, who started out many years ago as my 5th grade student at Edward Williams School and is now the executive director of the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau. I have so many children who have had tremendous successes. Some of them, I can happily say, are joining us here this afternoon. And I thank all of you for choosing me, because if there is one thing you can say about Frances Lightsy, is that she loves children.
It's so great to celebrate women in government. And when I started in 1980 at the Westchester County Board of Legislators, I think there were only just 3 women there at the time. And Audrey Hochberg was certainly my mentor, a really wonderful person. And the two of us ended up going up to the New York State Assembly, and we had a good number of women there in the assembly, but today it has really expanded. And today in the New York State Assembly, we have 55 women out of 150, and that's great. And in the Senate, there are 18 women senators out of 63. So our percentage totally is a little over 34%. So we've made some strides. We have much more to do. And obviously, my goal is to at least get to 51, 52%, which is where the female population is in our state and probably our country. So we have a way to go, but it's been a great experience for women. And we're keep moving on and making a difference in the lives of the residents of our communities. Thank you so much.
And our next speaker is Ms. Isabel Villar with the El Encuentro Hispano Executive Director. Ms. Villar is a native of Cuba, immigrated with her family in 1966 as a political refugee to White Plains, New York. Now, after receiving her BA in Political Science, Latin American Studies from Manhattanville College, she was hired in 1972 as a middle school teacher in Norwalk, Connecticut. In 1978, she transferred to Brian McMahon High School, where she was a first history language teacher and then a guidance counselor. Now, during those years, she earned 3 master's degrees. Wow. And from New York University, that is, Iona College and Long Island University, as well as earning her license in counseling. In 1974, she co-founded the El Centro Hispano in White Plains, New York. This organization offers a variety of programs to Hispanic residents of White Plains and in Westchester County. The 32 programs currently offered at the center are changing the lives of clients through education, technology, support services, cultural events, outreach, counseling, and empowerment, and through special activities. Her voice and influence has reached far beyond her own community. Honored with 42 different awards over the years, she's especially grateful for having a section of Lexington Avenue in White Plains named Isabel Elsa Villar Boulevard in her honor since 2013. How cool is that? Congratulations.
I would like to express my gratitude to the WOW Organizing Committee for giving me this opportunity to address and congratulate these amazing women who have shown such extraordinary power, strength, and determination to help others under the most difficult conditions we have experienced in decades. Ladies, I applaud you not only for what you have accomplished, but also for your resilience and your resolve to achieve those goals in spite of many challenges. Like you, I have been in the same situation for the past 47 years. In my teens, I came to this country from Cuba as a political refugee looking for religious freedom. And I was still only in my 20s when, after finishing my college education, with the help of visionaries in the city of White Plains, El Centro Hispano was founded. The mission of El Centro Hispano is and always has been to strengthen Hispanic families by providing them with guidance and services to help them become self-sufficient and successful. The current pandemic has only increased and expanded the need of our services. Thanks to generous donations received from many foundations and private donors, we were able to extend a healing hand to more than 3,855 individuals by providing them stimulus checks, food, coats for children and adults, diapers, and even food for their pets. And most importantly, with restaurant vouchers provided by Westchester County, which not only helped the community, but supported a struggling business. Currently, we are working very hard to get as many people as possible vaccinated. Thanks to our partnerships with Westchester County, the City of White Plains, Sunshine Pharmacy in White Plains, Burke Rehabilitation Center, Thomas Later Center, for Men Medical Center, we have been able to schedule vaccinations appointments for more than 941 individuals as of now. Working together for the good of others is the most rewarding experience any human being can have. It gives you the positive energy and the positive perspectives you need to overcome the obstacles that may and probably will come your way. I admire you all very much, and I encourage you to continue your fight to make Westchester a better home for everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so many incredible women. The next award, Healing Hands, highlights a woman making strides in the area of health and wellness. The winner of the Healing Hands WOW Award is Nubia Earth Martin from Yonkers. Nubia Earth Martin has spent much of her life in service to the Yonkers community. With a master's degree in midwifery, she is a certified birth and postpartum doula and certified lactation counselor. During the pandemic, she seamlessly transitioned to virtual support. She founded the not-for-profit Birth to Earth. And opened a space in downtown Yonkers dedicated to holistic healing, workshop support for the entire family. Nominated by a friend, who calls Ms. Martin determined to improving birth outcomes, especially among the African American community right here in New York.
Wow, I'm extremely honored and grateful to be receiving this award. As a lifetime resident of Yonkers, this award from the Women of Westchester is a high distinction for me because this is primarily where the families that I serve live. We're extremely dedicated to providing prenatal resources and improving maternal health outcomes. So the Healing Hands Award is a high distinction for me and extremely grateful, extremely honored, and a huge congratulations to all of the other recipients. Super excited to find out what things you do in Westchester County, and just really honored. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Assemblywoman Amy Paulin, and I am thrilled to be celebrating the fabulous women of Westchester. I've been so fortunate to have had so many women role models to guide me, to inspire me, to support me over the course of my career. I think we as women often lack the confidence to put ourselves out there or to express our views. At least I know for me, I had to learn that confidence over time. Trust in yourselves. We are all capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. When put to the test, we rise to the occasion. Congratulations to all of this year's award winners and to the many women who are helping to empower other women. It is up to all of us to advocate on behalf of others to ensure that the social and economic climate in Westchester County and beyond offers women equal access to opportunity. Stick together, support one another, and let's celebrate the wonderful women of Westchester.
Now I'd like to introduce our next keynote speaker, Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center Network Chief Executive Officer Judith Watson. Ms. Watson immigrated to the USA from Jamaica West Indies at the age of 7 and settled in White Plains. Upon graduation from White Plains High School, she joined the United States Army and then the Army Reserves, ultimately achieving the rank of Sergeant E5. She completed her undergraduate studies at Pace University in 1994. Earning a Bachelor of Science degree in registered nursing, she began her nursing career at the Greenberg Health Center in 1994, which merged into the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center. Now, in 2005, she has been employed for a combined 25 plus years. To maximize her contributions to health, Judith entered the Master of Public Health program at New York Medical College, attending nights and weekends until graduating in 2007. The mission of the Health Center is a reflection of her work, encompassing her passion for advocacy for others, concern for the health needs of the underserved, and desire to help her community. Now, Judith believes that there could be no greater satisfaction for her than playing the role in ensuring that health care needs are met for all, particularly for the most vulnerable in the U.S. and right here in New York. Now, Judith's job responsibilities, in addition to producing a public access television show, participation on a number of boards, and serving as an adjunct professor, account for the lion's share of her time. However, the remaining hours are significant for her loving family and significant other, good friends, jogging, travel, movies, and meditation. Here is Judith Watson.
Congratulations to all of the honorees this afternoon. This is a very special time to be recognized. To the wonderful women of Westchester County, good afternoon to you. You inspire me. I had the pleasure of attending the 2019 WOW Awards, and they were spectacular. The energy in the room was palpable and left me thinking about what I was most proud of as a woman, a Black woman. I thought about my experience serving in the United States Army as a Black female soldier, serving a country that had done so much for me and for my immigrant family. And then I thought about working at UPS while completing my undergraduate degree, the only female in the warehouse working the preload. However, it wasn't until 15 months ago that I had my proudest moment in my professional career. And that is, I have been able to serve as a proud Black CEO of the direction of the board of directors at the helm of the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center, a federally qualified health center through the worst pandemic in U.S. history, and caring for a population that has been disproportionately impacted by COVID. The great Gandhi said, "The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members." That holds true at the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center today and always. Federally qualified community health centers like the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center has prepared for this moment for 50 years. We have always been the safety net provider for the most vulnerable in our society, regardless of ability to pay and regardless of immigration status. We are a one-stop shop for all, young and old, Black and white, Hispanic, and the most vulnerable among us. We provide primary care, behavioral health care, specialty care, dental services, and enabling services, again, regardless of immigration status and regardless of ability to pay. Never were these services more vital than they have been throughout this pandemic. We remained open and accessible to all, despite having lost 3 longtime employees to COVID, shortages of PPE and other vital supplies, fear and utter chaos. In addition to healthcare services, we established a food pantry in collaboration with our partners at Feeding Westchester, where we've served over 20,000 individuals. We have completed over 24,000 COVID tests to date at our walk-up COVID testing facility in Mount Vernon. We erected this walk-up facility in collaboration with the governor and with the city of Mount Vernon. While folks were driving up at the testing site in New Rochelle, there were folks who were left out and had no way to get the test. They didn't drive. However, they were able to come and get their test at our walk-up facility. And today, we're testing approximately 300 people daily at our Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center. In spite of vaccine hesitancy and fear, we continue to vaccinate thousands of individuals through the federal vaccine program and in partnership with the state and local health departments. And let me be clear, for every one person who does not want this vaccine, there are 4 more who do, right? So you keep hearing about hesitancy, right? There are people who don't want it, and we're going to work with those folks to convince them otherwise. However, for everyone who says no, there are 4 who says yes. So I urge you to remember those 4. We have been and will continue to be here to address the health, racial, and ethnic disparities that existed long before COVID and has been further compounded by COVID. Don't forget, Black and Hispanics were disproportionately impacted with everything. And just because COVID is here doesn't mean that those disparities have been eliminated. In fact, they've been further compounded. We have grown a greater appreciation for the words resiliency, collaboration, compassion, dedication, health disparities, racial and ethnic disparities, mission, and plain hard work. We're encouraged by what appears to be the awakening of America. We've emerged from COVID much more hopeful and stronger than ever. And though we know that the work is just beginning and there is much work to be done, the past year has shown us that we can overcome anything as long as we do it together. The Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center is committed to doing our part. Are you committed? I believe that you are. I'm going to end it there, and I'm going to wish you a wonderful evening and a wonderful event. Thank you so much.
And the next award recognizes an outstanding businesswoman. As we all know, this past year has been far from business as usual. The winner of the Business Award is Melissa Manice from Larchmont. During the height of the pandemic, Manice coordinated hundreds of volunteers to make PPE for local hospitals. Next, she used her charity, One Larchmont, to raise more than $250,000 toward funding grants for closed businesses and creating extra capacity for restaurants. Nominated by a friend who says, thanks to Melissa, 25 local businesses received direct grants, and many were able to stay open during the winter with heated and sanitized domes. Ladies, and here is Melissa Manice.
In thinking about back to March 2020, which feels a lifetime ago and also yesterday, we put out a call just locally to try and come together to make masks. There was a shortage. And what we saw was organizations like Neighbors for Refugees, So Happy, which is a local Rye-based organization, an organization that became sort of a multi-municipality, coming together to make over 10,000 masks, handmade and delivered to local hospitals in Westchester and the New York metro area at large.
Thank you, happy sewers and Rye moms.
What then morphed as PPE became more available was a focus and a need for our local businesses. And so I'm incredibly humbled by the work of One Larchmont, which has been small but mighty, supporting our local Larchmont businesses. We've given about 30 grants in the past year to support businesses during closure, and then have also supported restaurants through outdoor dining initiatives, supporting both al fresco during the summer and then into the winter months, putting up about underwriting and putting up about 50 structures, domes and greenhouses. And it really has lifted the community both in the local business support, but just in a time when there is a lot of uncertainty in the community coming together. And so I really am so touched, and I do not stand alone in all this. And I thank Larchmont from the bottom of my heart. And I know we absolutely could not have done this without the community, but also without the mayor and trustee support and the county executive. So I really appreciate this award, and thank you so much for honoring me and the work that we've been lucky to do here in Westchester. Thank you.
And our next award is Women Supporting Women, which honors a local woman who continues to uplift others. The winner of that award is Mariana Alonso-Jusufaj from New Rochelle. Now, Mariana partnered with Cornell's Equity at Work Institute's We Rise nanny training of trainers. The program focuses on peer education, workforce empowerment, and industry standards. She supported the transformation of domestic workers' relationships with their individual employers as a nanny to help foster collaborative decision-making. Her vision has been replicated in New Rochelle, and she's been honored for advocating social justice in this industry where a majority of workers are women.
First, I want to thank Westchester County for the recognition. I would also want to thank my mother, who taught me that giving up should never be an option. She also told me that as women, we may have to work twice as hard for the same result as men in order to achieve our goals. Regardless of what a woman chooses to do, stay at home, parenting, working part-time, full-time, or multiple jobs, it is all done to support our families. Very often I hear that women do not support each other. Now more than ever, women must stand shoulder to shoulder. I really believe in collective power and have seen firsthand during the pandemic what a group of 1,300 women can do for each other when guided and supported by other women. During the pandemic, my women have stepped up to the plate. Specifically, we have helped each other by picking up children from school. We have cooked for meals for families during suffering from COVID. We have taught each other how to use technology like Zoom. I am very proud and privileged to be able to work with these 1,300 women, Mujeres in New Rochelle, and they remind me every day that we must all work together and that things are possible when we stand by each other.
My name is Kitley Cowell, and I am a Westchester County legislator. I have been inspired by the young women in Westchester County who have done so much in this trying year. Whether it is organizing Black Lives Matter rallies, coat, vote, and food drives, symposiums and conversations about global racism, income inequalities, and implied bias, or simply moving back home and putting up with their parents again, their unfailing sense of hope and optimism has lifted us all up. Of course, like all women, young women brought game to another challenge, the year of the virus lockdown, and I am grateful and hopeful because of them.
All right, ladies, this is when we're going to kind of change up the pace a little bit, just so you get a little break. I know some of you have been sitting, and I want you to meet Heather Rhyu, who's going to introduce you to an instructor, Natalia. Well, she will lead us on a few quick exercises on breathing and posture. Like I said, I'm sure you've been sitting for the last hour or so, so this will help you stretch out a little bit. A little bit on Heather Rhyu. She's the owner of the 3 Club Pilates studio in Westchester County, New York. Club Pilates is a boutique reformer Pilates studio offering group classes and private sessions with locations across the county. Now, Heather was working in finance as a credit analyst and pregnant with her second child when she decided to take a leap of faith and leave corporate world to start her own business. She founded the Club Pilates through a franchise consultant and quickly fell in love with the concept and the idea. She opened her first studio in Scarsdale in March of 2017, the second one in Ardsley in September of 2017, and she's got a third one, this one in New Rochelle, that she opened in October of 2019. Well, when she's not in one of her studios, she's a family woman. She's spending time with her husband and her 3 young children, Hayden, Kieran, and Ava. She loves that being a small business owner allows her the flexibility and time with her family, which is so important as women for many of us. Now, she holds a BA in business from the University of Wisconsin, Madison, an MBA from UCLA Anderson School of Business, and is a chartered financial analyst, CFA. Now, besides Pilates and other passions that include tennis, cooking, music, and reading, Heather, I'm going to let you take it over.
Hi, my name is Heather Rhyu, and I am the owner of Club Pilates in Scarsdale, Ardsley, and Quaker Ridge, New Rochelle. We are so happy to be part of the WOW Awards today, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Club Pilates, and we're going to have one of our instructors, Natalia, come on and give you a few quick tips on how you can improve your posture and your breathing while you're working at your desks all day. Club Pilates is a boutique reformer studio. It is a franchise. There's about 600 locations across the country, and we have 5 locations in Westchester. I own 3 of them. We offer reformer-based group classes as well as private sessions. If you're new to Pilates, it's all about core strength, lengthening, toning, posture, flexibility. It makes it easier for you to do your daily activities in your life if you're in a consistent Pilates practice. So we hope to see you in the studio one of these days, and I am going to transition it to our wonderful instructor, Natalia.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalia. I am an instructor here at Club Pilates. You can find me at all 3 of the Westchester locations. I'm here today to walk us through 4 different exercises. One is focusing on breathing, the other 2 are focusing on alignment and posture, and these are exercises that you're going to be able to do at any time of the day, sitting, standing, at your desk, in the kitchen, wherever you are, to help support your day. So first things first, we're going to go into parasympathetic breathing. So parasympathetic breathing is what some people would consider deep belly breathing, a lot of focus on inhale to exhale ratio, and it really helps signal the parasympathetic nervous system to help calm you down, bring the blood pressure down a little bit, support in that fight or flight feeling you might have throughout the day. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, you can do this standing or sitting. You would take one hand to heart, one hand to belly. I would invite you to close your eyes if you want to just help support that sort of centering. And you would inhale for 3 through the nose, hold at the top for 1 second, exhale for 4 out the mouth. So it would be hold, and exhale for 4. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, hold, good, and then last one. Hold, and exhale. So I would say you could do this for 30 seconds to a minute, however long it feels right for you, but the emphasis is to really think about bringing the oxygen in on that 3 count, hold the oxygen in on that 1 count, and exhale out for that 4 count. And really just feel that oxygen flowing through the body, allow your ribs to open up, and just allow everything to kind of calm down. So that is our breathing exercise. Let's move on to some posture work. So first thing, you would jump up out of your seat if you're sitting down. Super easy here. You would stand about hip distance apart, so feet about hip distance apart. You're just gonna take both arms. You're gonna loop them back here behind you. You can straighten those arms out if you can. If you have to keep them bent, that's okay as well. Super simple. All you're gonna do is open that chest up towards the ceiling, let those shoulders drop. You're really gonna feel it open up here. Hold it there for about 10 seconds. When you wanna release, you go ahead and release. And then same thing, inhale, you're gonna send it back again. Go ahead and release. And then you can do it one more time if that feels right for you. Go ahead and send it back. And release. You're gonna start to feel that chest open up nice and wide, which is what we want. We wanna go ahead and stand up. We're spending a lot of time hunched over at our computer, on our phones, cooking, driving, doing whatever. So we'll continue to work on opening that up. Another one we can do, I'll turn to the other side, is we'll do a little standing cat-cow action. So same thing, feet are gonna be sits bones distance apart, hip distance apart, slight bend in those knees. Hands are gonna come down to the knees here, roll those shoulders out, and all you're gonna do is go ahead and arch that back, open up that chest towards the ceiling, neck comes back, and then you can go ahead and curl over, kind of like a cat, like a black cat in Halloween. And you're gonna hollow out that stomach here, good, shoulders come up, and then you just switch again. You can stay in these positions for about 5 breaths if that feels good for you. But it's just gonna get that spine moving. And it's really gonna open up that back and that chest. And it's nice because you can do it standing. Good. When you're done, you wanna come back to neutral and you're just gonna go ahead and stand back up. And then the last thing that we'll do together, and this is really nice, we're just gonna do a roll down. So, same thing, feet are gonna be about sits bones distance apart. You can just reach up tall towards the ceiling, dive down, so tuck chin to chest. You're gonna dive down here. And maybe you can touch the ground, maybe you can't, that's okay. You just wanna emphasize opening up that spine. So each vertebrae starts to open up, right? And you start to feel that lengthening in the back body. You can shake your head yes, shake your head no. You want it to be really loose here. And I always say, let this be the slowest thing that you do all day. So when you roll up, you're gonna go 1 vertebrae at a time. Lower, middle, upper back. When you get up here, you're just gonna roll that shoulder out. Head is the last thing to land, and you should feel really open. And those are the 4 exercises for today. Thank you, everyone.
Well, I hope you're all relaxed somewhat with that Pilates segment. And if you want to continue relaxing and stretching, please do so as we move on to our next award. This is Community Response, identifying women helping the community with basic needs like housing or food. And the winner of the Charity Begins at Home WOW Awards is Donna Brown from Tuckahoe. An advocate for special needs children, Donna Brown is a single mother of 3 young children, including 2 sons with severe autism. Now, driven by the struggles of finding care for them, she has made it her mission to help the Youth Community Outreach Program in Mount Vernon better serve the needs of parents, students, and the community. She has worked to address safety concerns, opportunity, education, and health for those in need. Now at home, neighbors who nominated her say she helped keep kids entertained, organizing weekly outdoor movie showings. She also is a volunteer with Feeding Westchester, helped put together a community garden, and delivered ice during that July heat wave. Her neighbors describe her as an unselfish woman committed to her community and her family.
I want to thank County Executive George Latimer and all of those involved with the WOW Awards. Women, mothers, and caregivers have been faced with almost inconceivable odds in their efforts to care for their families and communities during the pandemic. All of these women are heroes and superstars. Everything that I have been a part of accomplishing, the hot meal distribution, the toys, blankets, and food giveaways, summer camp, education aid for our children who are suffering and struggling trying to maintain their grades. This hard work has been the sacrifice of a fearless team of coworkers at Youth Community Outreach Program and the dedication of many others in the community. The work isn't done. There are many families still facing the fear of becoming homeless. They're facing food insecurity. Children are still struggling to keep up and maintain their grades. In the spirit of volunteerism and caring, being honored as a woman of Westchester, I thank you for this award.
And now we have three more remarkable women to talk about. 5 years ago, Christy Nell, Catherine Bagby, and Christina Cohen began sharing an office in an industrial adaptive reuse building in Dobbs Ferry. Christy was running and a creative agency that designed solutions for clients, including J.Crew, IBM, Microsoft. Catherine's private practice offered a holistic approach to physical therapy by integrating manual therapy with Pilates, movement instruction, and Christina had built her interior design firm from expertise in commercial interiors with a top architectural firm in New York City. A professional synergy began as a workspace, and an inspirational community organically flourished when they began offering memberships to their network of friends. Experience led them to build HUDCO, a members club that offers cohort working, movement classes, professional programs, and inspiring events. Now, HUDCO has been named Best of Westchester by Westchester Magazine, has been covered in the USA Today and Fast Company, and hosted the very first Element 46 incubator cohort for Westchester County. 1 year after launching their business, these entrepreneurs had to close their doors for 3 months and figure out how to operate a shared office space amidst a pandemic while also handling remote schooling with their young children. Now, they saw firsthand through the HUDCO community how mothers were disproportionately affected by this pandemic, and they're here now to share their experience.
Hey, Women of Westchester, we are HUDCO. We are a members club and shared office space for Westchester professionals to be productive, get inspired, and be well. We have a 9,000 square foot office space for you to come and work. You'll have plenty of personal space, phone booths, there's snacks and lunch options. We also have some private offices for both wellness professionals and remote workers. And we do a lot of programming so that we can help entertain your kids with Kids Club. And then we also have a lot of wellness offerings like yoga classes and mat Pilates so that you can try and balance your life and do it all in one space. And we're the three founders of HUDCO. We're here to talk about the past year and the struggles of trying to be a mother and get everything done during the pandemic.
As professionals, all just needed a place to work, so we decided to share an office in this building.
And so in, March 2019 is when we opened the doors to our big space downstairs. And for the first year, everything was going great. We were getting more and more members. We had like 200 people there. And so when March of last year rolled around, we just would sit there trying to figure out what to tell our members because the rules were coming out different each day, and we wanted everybody to be safe, and eventually we had to close our doors. And thus, here we are, and how it's been for the past year. So how I'm balancing it right now, I don't really have childcare anymore, so my whole day gets segmented between when I'm with my kids to give them school.
The part that's been the most difficult for me is that I'm an interior designer and I'm not a teacher, and it's been a struggle teaching my children, doing more homework with them, trying to facilitate some of the lessons that are really just not my forte, even though I think they really enjoy at their age being home and the fact that we're never gone. It is kind of juxtaposed to the fact that we're now everything to them, including, a little bit of a teacher as well.
The biggest thing is how do we have babysitters when you can only have so many people in your house and it's a pod and mass and then classes?
Having to guide our children through things that, teachers would normally do and be patient and try to be a good mom and try to get work done. So it's just, it's I think definitely for mothers, your day is segmented, like you said. So it's hard to really focus and truly get something done well.
I know, I feel like it's
We'll
just
get through it.
really set mothers back in a big way. And we can see that in our members. We had a big drop in we generally had a lot of moms who were coming to our space and working during that time before school ended because their kids were in school. And now that the kids aren't in school, they have no time to come to HUDCO anymore. We've been doing a lot of things to try and help the community around us because we feel like that's the one thing everybody can get behind, and that's the one thing that still feels connected is by doing stuff for others.
And maybe it's because we know we need those things as well.
Yeah.
So, I think we spend a lot of time as partners coming together and trying to figure out what the community needs now.
We really had to get creative about our programming and do things virtually. So we were offering, yoga classes and Pilates classes and workshops and meetups virtually, which I think, started out with a bang, but everybody's getting a little sick of the virtual situation at this point. So I'm excited that we're getting back to doing these things in person.
Yeah. So we talked to some of our members to see what their experiences were like, and here's what they had to say.
Hi, I'm Alale Akavan. I'm a board-certified dermatologist opening Joyful Dermatology in Dobbs Ferry. I went from seeing patients in my fancy Manhattan office with my full support staff helping me to being at home, trying to see telehealth patients with my 3 little girls, asking for snacks and giving them lots and lots and lots of snacks and lots of love and lots of support, and constantly keeping them from looking at my computer where they're trying to look at all the skin pictures that I don't want them to see.
Hi, my name is Ramona Cedeno. I'm the founder of Fabric, an accounting practice based in New York City and with an office in Westchester. I have 2 kids, and since the pandemic, I have been working from home, and the kids have been working or doing their schoolwork from home, and we have adjusted, but it's not the ideal situation. We're all ready to go back to school and the office. I am looking forward to that, but for now, we're managing, and we are just trying to be supportive to each other.
I became a first-time mom in July 2020. Right in the middle of a pandemic. Guess that means I have perfect timing for things. And now that I'm back at work, I spend 3 days in the office and 2 days working from home while taking care of my 7-month-old son. So those 2 days that I'm home are by far my longest days and most challenging days. And I often wonder how moms, parents, caretakers have been doing this for an entire year. Working from my corner office with my most demanding boss of the week.
So where are we going now? Things are looking up. Vaccines are rolling out. Members, we're getting more and more members each day coming to the space. And in terms of work, I keep reading about the future of work is flexible, and the employers are going to start giving people 1 or 2 days a week to work from home. We'll have a space for those people. But I'm really curious about wellness and how we're going to incorporate wellness into our day moving forward.
In general, there's been a lot lost, obviously, through all of this, but a lot gained as well. Priorities have changed. People are, I think, paying more attention to their own health and being considerate of others as well. So overall, hopefully, our perspective on health and well-being has improved.
That's kind of what we've been talking about the whole time, is that if you were to take your whole day and mix work and life and wellness, what would that look like? And everybody was kind of forced to do that within the confines of their own home for the past year. But now that you can go other places, you can still take that mindset with you and go to places like HUDCO or figure out how to do it at your own home. I think the future's looking bright. We hope people come to HUDCO to try and get their work done. We've created a space for you. And thanks for having us. It's 10:35.
Would you have to go pick up your kids?
Yeah.
Now, our next award is a special award for a special young woman submitted by an applicant who we just couldn't let the day go by without recognizing. The Young Woman of Westchester WOW Award goes to Joyce Liu of Hastings-on-Hudson. Using sewing skills her grandmother taught her, Joyce Liu and her friends designed and made masks to fit children and adults. Within 24 hours of posting about Ardsley masks on Instagram, Miss Liu had 100 requests. She used discarded fabric and received donations of hundreds of yards of fabric, thread and elastic, and she and her friends made nearly 2,000 masks that were distributed to residents of the Atria Assisted Living Facility and the Blythedale Children's Hospital and Ardsley School District families, which included healthcare workers and police officers at a time in so need. She's just 16 years old and a shining example of a WOW woman.
Thank you to everyone on the committee who nominated me. Thank you to Lily and Alexandra, two of my teammates, for making this all happen. Thank you to my school's principal, superintendent, and my guidance counselor for helping spread awareness of my club. Thank you to my grandma, who taught me how to sew, and my dad, who drove me to everyone's homes. Ardsley Masks has given me this incredible opportunity to help out the community, and at a time where everyone is quarantined, I really hope that this sort of helps show that there are people out there that can help you when you're in need. And I really hope that my actions help inspire other girls in my community to take initiatives and help bring change. Thank you.
And Joyce right there is an example of no matter how old you are, how young you are, you can inspire, you can do what you want if you just put your mind to it. And ladies, just remember, in the end, whether you had a award tonight or not, in the end, you are all WOW women, and your contributions and experiences to inspire those and to, really bring good in others and uplift others is really what this is all about. So as we close out this year and we look forward to another year, just remember, it's all about you and women empowerment. You are all WOW woman. I want you to have a great year, stay healthy, and be kind, be loving, and have a wonderful night tonight. Thank you for joining us.